Hi, Dan, and welcome to the Convene podcast.
Thanks, Maggie. Thanks for having me.
Dan, you've spent your career creating experiences that bring a brand to life. And I wonder, when you look at the events industry today, what do you think we're getting right and what are we overcomplicating?
I think we're really getting right connecting events to outcomes. And that's something that's grown over the last number of years that I've seen the industry starting to really turn on. I think in connecting those experiences to what the business is trying to achieve makes them so much more powerful. I think we continue to overcomplicate some of the measurement theater, as I like to call it, how we think about measurement and how it connects to the business outcomes. I also think that sometimes we're guilty as marketers to overcomplicate a situation. Sometimes the cleanest experience, the most intentional experience is the best one. So I think we have to be really thoughtful about when we want to innovate or try something new, that we're building something that's truly aiding the attendee experience and growing the experience for the attendees. It all ladders back to our strategy cascade. So at Dell Technologies, from the top, we set an objective for the year with very clear metrics of success. And so over the course of the year, a lot changes. And we look at that strategy, but we use as a North Star the strategy cascade. And so when we're presented with all kinds of opportunities, we are really thoughtful around what we go after and what we invest in. But we always keep that North Star in mind on what the objectives of that year are. And so that makes it actually pretty easy to make these decisions. I think it's the difference between opportunities that just pop up, right? So marketing for marketing's sake, things that seem shiny or interesting, but don't ladder to the outcomes that we're looking for as a business. So I think that it's a discipline that's come with time.
How do you think people can build that discipline?
It takes practice, right? So I think as marketers, we like to create really shiny, cool experiences that are innovative, maybe never been done before. We have to be really thoughtful around how those connect to the outcomes of the business. So the more that events can be aligned to the objectives that we're trying to achieve and grow the business and continue to address what we're trying to achieve, the more successful these events and experiences will be. I think attention fragmentation is something that we're not talking enough about. I go into these event experiences and I see really engaged attendees. They sit down in, let's say, a keynote or a breakout session, and it starts and they're fully engaged. And then you start to see, as you sit in the back of the room, the heads dip down and they start going on their devices. And I wonder, is it the content? Are we not connecting with them? Is it not relevant? Or is this just how it is now? Is this how, as a society, we are connected and we're multitasking and we're getting notifications on our phones, on our watches, on our devices? And so I think it's something that we talk about in passing. We haven't made a lot of progress in how we address it moving forward.
Do you have any ideas or strategies that you apply at Dell Technologies?
Absolutely. So I think it's a challenge for everybody in the industry right now. I think it's always thinking about keeping the content relevant, really targeted to the audience, bringing the audience in and having them be engaged. Things that have been true forever in the events industry, I think, remain true. That the more that someone feels they brought to the table, that they're being heard, that they're engaging, maybe learning from a peer. I also think turning the formats of events on their heads can be helpful too. So maybe it's not one to many. Maybe it's a birds of a feather session, or it's bringing experts together in a lightning talk where they have 15 minutes to address a particular topic. I also love brain dates, having attendees bring a topic to other attendees and have those conversations. So I think we're playing with formats and we'll continue to do that. I think it's really interesting when the team brings a new concept, a new idea that could really change the attendee experience in a really great way. And that's what's key to deciding which way to go and how to continue to innovate our event experience. I think we look at some shiny objects that may be interesting to try out, but how they connect and actually enhance the attendee experience is what I think a lot about. So I think it's really key to keep that in mind. How do we make that a frictionless experience for the attendee? And how we continue to think about how it connects to the ultimate goals of the program. No, I think we continue to partner with our agencies, with our tech stack, within the event portfolio, and the advancements that are coming very quickly, continue to make that experience that much better. So making the mobile app really easy to navigate it, making it even more consumer friendly, thinking about how people register, how they show up. And I know a lot of folks are experimenting with facial recognition, so you don't even have to type in your name anymore. I think there's some really fun advances that make that first touch at the experience that much easier. So you get your badge and you're on your way. And then how you connect with the event is the next thing that I kind of obsess about is how do you connect with other humans, right? So we know the content that we're offering. We're trying different formats to meet attendees where they are and meet their expectations and exceed their expectations. But I think it's really key for us to continue to try things, to innovate. We're going to fail along the way, but it's fail fast and recover and continue to learn from it.
Do you think that attendee expectations are becoming more similar globally, or are regional differences becoming more important than ever?
I think it's both. So I think there's some commonality across the globe. So attendees are expecting us as event organizers to lean in to advances in technology, to make it easier to engage with them, to get what they're trying to achieve at their events, whether it's networking, learning, or some combination of the two. I think, though, as we build experiences, we have to be really thoughtful around where they are in the world. And those cultural norms, we have to be able to respect them. We have to be able to fit into the society in which we're building that program. And so it's both. We have to be really respectful of what we're building and thoughtful on how attendees want to engage. I think when event leaders go into the C-suite and lead with activities instead of outcomes or logistics and not success metrics, I think that's the real key in thinking about knowing your audience. It goes down to marketing 101. So you go in, think about the audience, think about those leaders and what they're trying to achieve with the business. And so I think as event leaders, we need to come in understanding that the logistics and how we run our organization is critical, but aligning the metrics and the success of the business to the event outcomes is key. It's very clear attendees are going to expect personalization at scale. They're going to expect us to know more about them and curate an experience that's really hyper personalized for them. I think content is going to explode. It's going to be everywhere. And I think of it conversely, there's going to now be a premium on the event experience. The human to human connection is going to be even more important, even more valuable. So I think it's both. I think there's an opportunity for us to really harness what AI will bring as an opportunity and lean in as event organizers to create an experience that's unique, that they can only get by being together in a shared experience and build an experience that's truly different. And I think we need to innovate, continue to play with formats, think about how AI layers in, but doesn't overtake the event. Yeah.
What's a belief that many event professionals still hold that you think will become a liability over the next few years?
Yeah. I think the number one thing that's bubbling up for me more and more these days, that bigger is better. And I think you think about how a lot of organizations represent their event success and they say it's the biggest one yet and most number of people to travel and be at our program or whatever. And I think it's been true forever, but I think it's going to be even more true as we move forward. Having the right people together is going to really move the needle and connect to those business outcomes that we're trying to achieve running these events. So I think the more we think about that as we move forward and build experiences intentionally for the right audience and connecting the right people with the right content, the right human experience at these events, and not leaning so heavily on the biggest one yet. I think back to the first SEMA summit I went to. It was an opportunity early in career get to know folks that I admired that had done really amazing things in the event industry. And I'm so proud of those connections, and they still exist to this day. So it's a little bit of family reunion when I get on site at SEMA Summit. It's an opportunity to reconnect with those individuals that continue to impress me and that I get to learn from. So I think it's a little bit education, a little bit networking, and definitely idea sharing. So I'm really excited to join the community again.
Thank you, Dan, for joining me on the podcast, and I'm looking forward to your panel discussion. Seems to be a great one.
Thanks.